Car number 6 will become Rigachi Kegon Village Express train.
「 こ อ